Hello guys and welcome back to a new video. Today I'm gonna be posting my this vlog on this channel, the second channel, cause this thing has some weaponry, I should say. But so I went to the National Air Force Museum that's in Ohio and we saw a bunch of cool stuff. There was that map that I'm gonna actually show you where we are. This is the first part, like the new sort of era where planes were getting invented. There's like tons of engines that I don't even know. There's the one at the last that looks like a car engine. So here is a Fiat 812 engine. It was used for the big plane, as you can see in the background. I think it's from Italy, as you can see of the flags. And then there's like all these planes from many countries. I skipped over the history, that's boring. No one wants to really know right now. And then there's these planes hung up in the sky and from like all these countries with the same sort of like biplane design, as you can see from like the first the Wright brothers, plane. Then this bicycle that I forgot what it was about, and then this wind tunnel from 1901 where they used used this to test like the aerodynamics of stuff. And now on to the next part. And now here is a blimp, just to it was part of like flying at the time in the old times. So they showed this like huge blimp. Or what? There were these like statues of people sitting inside the plane to give it the feel. It was all cool. And then as we went on, engines just got stupider and weirder. And then at the end, we also have a wind tunnel, which is better than the last one we saw. Now this part was mainly just about the clothes people wore, if they worked in the army or if they just flew planes normally. Now this part was mainly about wars like the Cold War or the World Wars, about the planes they used, how like the engines worked. There was a lot of planes and engines, and the clothes they wore, people who fought or served in the wars, and a lot more fun stuff to look at. It was pretty fun, but then it also gets repetitive most of the time. But it was very fun to look at and very exciting. Then we went on to see some more planes that were like the ones you would see in like a video game or something, where like they had the stripes and the dots and everything for all the military stuff. So just a lot more army planes. Yeah, we started seeing some missiles now. This was the world's largest gear wheel and tire in the 1940s for a plane. And let me tell you, that's pretty big. And these were some of the bombs that were used in the wars, which looked pretty cool. And now engines were getting just so stupid, they are vomiting wires from each side of them. Then we started seeing some like parts of the plane, like the propeller and engine and much more. Then we saw a jeep that was used to carry soldiers around the base. Ah yes, the beloved shark design with a minigun in its mouth. Perfect. And another engine that's vomiting wires all over the place. And a lot more cool army planes, as you can see. Yes sir, the big boy guns. Haha. That's a freaking torpedo! Bruh, the missile's so big they have to carry down a truck. The miniguns the army installed in their planes to mow down their enemies. And then here's a bomb, a gun, a big gun like a howitzer, I don't know what. And then we also saw some other army planes that are a little better with like turbojets. And here's an actual turbojet opened up inside the brim. It's just too much for me. I told you engines are gonna be vomiting wires all over the place. And here's a little like battlefield setup they did where like people are like loading stuff into the plane and stuff. This is the plane that actually dropped the bombs on, Japan, like the atomic bombs. Here is the fat man, the big bomb, and here is the little boy bomb. They're pretty big, even though they're named such things. Here are some of the tanky vehicles. The cool thing is, at the museum, there were some planes that they allowed you to like take a quick tour inside of them. So we went to this like huge cargo plane just to see how actual planes look from the inside. So this was like one that dropped troops or supplies or something. So like we just went all up, like there was like ramps all up to it leading up. You see those like little side metal things? You could fold them down to make way for storage on the top. There are just straps for people, windows obviously, because you're gonna have to look outside. This is like you can pull it down and put cargo up there. So it was a pretty cool plane. Then we went into this like submarine shaped, I don't know if it was a plane or actual submarine. So there's like all this like radio equipment and normal stuff, you would see to like contact, more gauges or I don't know, a lot more equipment that I actually even don't know myself. And then the big room with the big bombs, you know, like torpedoes or I don't know what. This looks scary. And then the next room, there's even smaller, yet even like scarier looking bombs, you know, to end people's lives. Yeah, it was pretty scary. Here's a huge missile or torpedo or what. Here's how they used to puncture tires because they were just so thick. They put these like iron spikes down. More wires. Now these miniguns were the ones that you would see on the ground or under the cockpit and like the mouth, you know, like in the designs before. So now at this point we were in the second hangar, which is the South Asia War and the Korean War. So as you can see, we've seen like the Raptors and the, you know, the drone planes and the bombers and other huge military aircraft that I can't actually explain. And the engines are getting more ridiculous and they're vomiting wires and a lot more cooler weaponry. And then there was this like model where you could pull this lever and it would show you how the wings would move on the aircraft. Then also there were these like tiny cockpit areas where you could like sit into and they would look realistic, but they're just only the cockpit, not the whole plane. And then here's a huge helicopter with a machine gun sticking out the window. It was pretty cool. It's not Chinook though. And here's another battlefield set up with soldiers and like a helicopter in the background. Then we started doing some bike tour rides. So there was this one, like this army one where we would go 360. This was just a normal movie one where there was a movie playing inside and we would just move around. And then there was like a whole gallery of like tons of planes and how they progressed, you know, because they started from like a biplane to then they went over to like steam planes or what, engine planes, to jet planes, to even space shuttles. And you know, it just got bigger and bigger. These were awesome models, like pretty good and very detailed. So I loved it to see these. Wires. Now we were going to the third hangar, which had all this stuff from Cold War. So in the Cold War, it was a war between, you know, Russia and the USA where they were just competing to get better technologies. And they didn't want to actually like injure each other, but they were just competing to get the better technologies and everything. So here's like a stripped out plane. They're upgrading their whole armies and everything, a plane from the underside. And there were also trophies given out for good pilots. Then we went under some planes because they like let open the cargo door. So this is where like I think the bombs or cargo would go into. And so it looked pretty cool. And here is the most, like the craziest plane that I thought of all. It's the SR-71 Blackbird, and it was actually created, or the ideas and the blueprints were created in Area 51. And here's my dad standing next to it. And then here is the MiG-29 with a really pointy needle, like a really pointy needle at the end of its nose. And then here is a model of all the planes that we just saw. And now guys, we're gonna be moving on to the last part of the museum, or the last hangar I should say, which is in the middle. We have like this place where we can see all the rocket fuselages and all. And the last one, we have the Air Force One where the president flew in, and a space shuttle which you can like go through and all. And here is the missile gallery, but most of them look like rockets, like tiny rockets. As you can see, they've got like thrusters on the bottom. This was a cool place to look at, honestly, because I love space. And here's the Minuteman, another dangerous missile. And here we entered the last hangar for our vlog. Here is then like they have these like space suits, you know, on display. It's like the history of them. As you can see, they get better every time. Because like these are the spacesuit they used in like the Mercury or, you know, the Gemini missions. And then the Apollo, and then obviously at the end we have the latest version of the spacesuit with like the whole glass thing in white, you know, design. It's the best, obviously. Here is a upper stage payload booster. It basically pushes whatever you're carrying into space. And then here is all the rest of like the rocket stuff, like satellites and boosters. Here are then a lot of other really cool planes and one really large plane. There's also some like this weird aircraft or what that was shaped like a UFO. Then we started going into the space shuttle. This is where it carries its payload. Here's the med deck for all astronauts' needs. Here then is the flight deck, where basically, which is called like the cockpit of the space shuttle, and there's also 2 astronauts in it. here is a look of the space shuttle from the outside, like the model. And then here is like a 3D printer of what model of the space shuttle somewhere else. Here is the Air Force One from the outside. We actually so rushed to get inside that we forgot to take the photos of other stuff. But here it is from the outside, and now here it is from the inside. So we started going in, and we were quite excited to see what was inside. So we went in and we saw like just normal radio equipment and just normal things you'd see in an airplane. Here's like the main radio room, the contact and all, because the president still needs like contacts, or not the president, but just safety. Normal bathroom, I think that was. And there's like 2 telephones, each chair got a telephone. Or like each set. Pretty luxurious, to be honest. They were quite comfy looking. Same design when it came to having systems. Like there was the light system above on the roof. Then we started seeing through the windows. We went down, very nice area, and then looking at lights. And then here's the next part where we get to see who used it the most, and the Kennedy, JFK used it, and so there's the dining or what. Here's a TV, and it's a fat TV because it's from the old times. 2 of the TVs actually now. And yeah, we went through a very comfy area, as you can see, because it's really you could say smooth looking. The textures are very smooth, the chairs and everything. This is the living room, maybe a meeting room. Then we went on. This is a normal seating area for a couple of people, because the president has to meet with a lot of people. So here's just a meeting area, a couple areas. Before, more telephones. There's a TV, I think, or something, and so on and so forth. And then at the back, we got here more sitting. At the back, there's 2 bathrooms, I think, or so. But yeah, there's a lot of seating because this plane can hold a lot of people. There's a kitchen. I forgot. There's a kitchen and 2 bathrooms. So this was my vlog to the Air Force Museum in Ohio. If you enjoyed, please smash the subscribe button, hit the like button, share, and I'll see you next time. Bye.